So, yesterday, which was Sunday, I went to the ER. That's the third time I went to the ER within the last 4 months or so. I went once in October, and once in November, and then, the New Year. And for whatever reason, Sundays, my anxiety is the highest, and I'm really cold right now. It's like 6 something in the morning, and I call out to work because I am still, my anxiety is so high that I cannot. I got off my bed just to use the bathroom, and I was so nervous. If you can see my face is sagging, and I keep thinking I'm gonna have a stroke, and just thinking about having a stroke throws me into PTSD because my second oldest brother passed away because of a stroke back in 2015. So a year before I had panic attacks, and I try not to think about those times so much, but it's so hard not to. And I apologize if you hear a fan in the back. It's my heater. I'm cold, and I'm shivering. I'm like, so my nervous system is so messed up right now that it's when I get cold, I don't really shiver and shake. But it's like I feel like I'm just so nervous that I'm shaking. And I feel like throwing up. As far as yesterday, I went to the ER. I'll be honest, I get so emotional when the fire department got there, and then when my dad said, "Oh, it's it's for my son again," and and it's the same fireman that came from the previous 2 times, and I cried because I told them I was so nervous. You can see this. And I've never been like shivering. Even when I go in the snow, I don't even. I'm cold, but I don't like shiver and shake. I'm just cold. It's like I have this extra amount of energy just built up inside me, and I'm shaking. And I just cry in front of the fire department because my emotions got the best out of me, and then my hands turned to this claw, which was the first time it ever happened to me. While I was doing that, they told me it's because of my breathing, right? And told me to relax my breathing, and then my whole face just had this tingling, the numbness, like vibrating feeling from my whole body almost, and they told me it's the way I'm breathing, that's why it's happening, nothing else. And then the EMS got there around the same time, and then they took over. They asked me, so what's going on? I told them a panic attack. And then they asked me, so when did I start having panic attacks? I said back in 2016. Then they asked me, tell them from what happened in the beginning, from when I start having them, what's the difference from now? I said, I never had all these symptoms I had before until late 2016 when I took some kind of medicine from the ER, from the urgent care in a hospital, and I had never been back to the hospital. Sometimes I wonder if that medication was not meant for me, my body wasn't used to it or what, but I have a fear of taking medication, especially when it comes to anxiety. I can take allergy medication, I can take Tylenol, Deflu, NyQuil, Dayquil, stuff like that. But when it comes to like medicine for like dizziness that my doctor gave me, I cannot. I keep thinking, okay, it says may cause drowsiness, might cause dizziness. I'm like, okay, why am I taking the medication that says might cause dizziness? If I'm already dizzy, what's the point? And even right now, even every time I talk about what happened to me in my also my doctor told me I had to practice breathing exercise because he said he can tell the way I breathe is also the reason why all these symptoms are happening. I'm over breathing. And I'm not gonna lie, the breathing exercise does help me calms me down, but I find out that I have to really do it often, like, even when I don't feel the anxiety, but I catch myself having to do it. And even the EMS, they told me that they can tell my breathing is, I'm not breathing the way I should be. I'm so dizzy, and that's why I have to keep like closing my eyes. But even when I close my eyes, I feel like shivering. So my nervous system is like overloaded. As far as going to the ER, I went to do the ambulance, and there's so much people in the ER room. They told me that I still had to wait at the waiting room, so they just let me off, and I just sat down in the waiting room for them to call me. I was there for like an hour or something. Oh my God, when I was sitting there, I see a lot of people coughing, people are sick, throwing up, even little babies, and then I'm like, oh my God. When I see, elderly people, little babies sick, my heart dropped to the ground because, even my own parents are old, and then I feel bad for other people, and sometimes I don't take care of myself. I worry about other people more than I worry about myself, and, I told my doctor that. I said, if you worry about other people more than yourself, it's not healthy for you because you're putting all that stress into your life and you're not taking care of yourself. You're trying to take care of others before you take care of yourself. You can't take care of others if your own health is not that good, mentally. And then he said, I agree with your primary doctor that you should see a therapist and a psychologist, because he asked me what my primary doctor said, and then I told him, my primary doctor told me that it might be a good idea to go see a therapist and a psychologist, just to talk out, like, what's going on in life, like what you fear of. And because the primary doctor, they don't specialize in talk therapy and stuff like that. And for me, that's what I want. I make these videos because sometimes it actually helps me talk about like things, how I feel, stuff like that. And it helps me, to be honest, when I make these kind of videos, it helps me talk about, like, what's going on with me, how I feel, things of that nature. And then sometimes I feel like I feel like that's the only thing that really helps me when I talk it out. But on the videos, because a lot of you guys understand how I feel. That's why sometimes I always say I wish all of us that's going through some panic attacks, any kind of mental illness, we all live in the same area, like a community. At least we can turn to each other, help each other. When we feel the panicky, we're there. We can see someone else. Oh, okay, see, I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. There's millions of us out there, but it's easier when we're like talking to each other, either on the phone, FaceTime, even especially next to each other. That's why when I have coworkers that I have in my previous job, I have one coworker. She has Meniere's disease, so she knows about the. Well, she has like the off balance feeling, the vertigo, the dizziness. She has it almost pretty much every day, and then when I feel it, she's there. She'll talk to me. It's like, what, I'm here. I feel it too. Just don't be scared. Don't think you're the only one. Don't think that no one's gonna understand you. Because she told me when she had Meniere's disease, she felt like no one knew how she felt, and then from that day on, I was like, okay, I feel more comfortable being at work, knowing that someone else understands how I feel, because some people will say, I feel bad for you, but at the same time, they'll be like, I wish I can understand how you actually feel. And then I say, okay, go sit on the chair and spin yourself around. And they do it, and they laugh, and they have fun, and they just get off, and they get that wooziness, and they just continue on with their life. And they said, oh, that's how you feel? I say, yeah. And they say, it's not that bad, it's kind of fun. And I'm like, well, easy for you to say because you're on the chair spinning yourself around. But imagine that happens out of nowhere. When you could be driving, then what? And that's the stuff that worries me. And I apologize, I'm going back and forth with these stories, but so when I was at the ER, cause they take my blood test, they ran the EKG, chest X-ray. They told me, your heart, your chest X-ray perfectly fine. Your blood pressure was a little high. It was like 160. But say because my anxiety was high, so they just let me calm down. They told me practice your breathing, relax, focus your mind on your breathing. Don't sit there and like look around like you hear people coughing, you see people sick, and then that their illness slowly turns into you, and then you start thinking that you're sick too. And that's the strange thing. When I was there, I hear people coughing, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get sick too. And I see the elderly guy, on the he's sick. I see people on the hospital bed just looking ill. And then I got nervous, and I'm like, oh my God, these I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people here that's sick, but they're not nervous. They're just laying down, and there I am waiting in the waiting room, like hiding, like just close my eyes and lean my head against the back and just try my best not to react to it. And then also hard not to like pay attention to see all other people like sick and elderly, the middle-aged people, teenagers, kids and babies. I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, I keep telling myself I had to worry about myself too. So the chest X-ray, the blood test, the EKG, everything was fine. The doctor didn't really talk to me too much. He said, it's just, we want to let you know you're fine. Doesn't show your heart having any heart attack previously, currently. You know, your blood is perfectly fine. You don't have you don't have like diabetes. You don't have nothing. And it's funny because I eat a lot of sweets and stuff. And I told him, he say, well, you can eat a lot of sweets and stuff, but if you walk it off, you exercise, even you don't exercise, but you walk it off, you burn those calories from the sweets, then it's different. But he did tell me, give me a list, stay away from like processed foods, junk food, caffeine, salt, and stuff like that. And eat, if I'm craving sugar, eat like fruits, stuff like that. Eat in the morning, something healthy, so throughout the day my mind and body feels healthy. Because if my mind don't feel healthy, my body won't. And finding it's like when I started experiencing panic attacks back in 2016, and I slowly gave up sugar and stuff, and I didn't notice much of a difference. I was still getting panic attacks, but and then I started eating healthier little by little. I just was able to sleep better, but sleeping better doesn't mean less panic attacks. It's just meaning those 6+ hours I sleep, I don't feel a panic attack until I wake up. And sometimes I wake up in the middle of a panic attack. Sometimes it's embarrassing for me to say. I'm even scared to be in my own room by myself. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I wish my girlfriend was here too. And there's times I want, or my brother, or even say, you want, you can just come in my room if you ever feel odd or whatever. And then I told him, no, it's fine, because I don't want to stress other people out, worry other people, and then say, we're family, don't worry about it. And then even my own neighbors, back in 2017ish, I would say, when they finally saw me outside for the longest time, and my neighbor asked me, oh, I haven't seen you outside for a long time, because he used to see me wash my car, hanging around outside, and I told him, I said, I'll be honest, I started experiencing panic attacks, depression, and I was housebound, bedridden. And he said, are you okay now? I said, I'm still kind of, I can't really go too far, and if I do, I have to bring, my phone has to be fully charged. I have to wear my back then I didn't have AirPods or anything like that. I had to bring my headphones, and I would have to have my hat on my beanie. I would, and my glasses so I can see. And I would walk around the block, just to the corner of my block, to the school, and I walk back, and that's pretty much it. And if I do go anywhere, I will go somewhere with my mom, my parents, or my brothers. And then he has a dog too. Sometimes he'll say, okay, if you want, or when I go for my walks, when I go walk my dog, I'll go with you. And I say, oh, that sounds good. That works for me. And then he'll come over. We'll go for walks every few days. Like for maybe 10-15 minutes. And then he said, if I feel panicky, dizzy, or whatever, just sit down. Then he'll automatically know. And then I didn't know. I know his wife has fibromyalgia. I can't even say the word, but I know his wife has chronic headaches. That's why she can't work. But I didn't know. I looked up the symptoms recently. I'm like, oh my God, she gets the headaches, body aches, nauseated, dizziness, like what we get some of our symptoms with anxiety. And I know she doesn't leave the house too much, and and then I'm like, oh my God, I feel so bad for his wife, because he's an older gentleman, and then he's taking care of his wife, and he's working from home at the moment. And sometimes I I wish they had a kid, but they met each other when it was already she was already at the age where it's hard for her to have a kid. And for me, if they had one kid, at least the oh my god, I had this the headache. The headache at the back of my head is that that dull pinching. It's that. Anyways, it's I feel so bad for them too, and at the same time, I'm like, oh, now I have a neighbor that I can have the same common feeling for, with the headaches, the dizziness, body aches. But it's also sad to see other people struggling with different kind of illness, disease. Like I say, I worry about other people more than I worry about myself. And when I see, even when I hear about stuff like that, my head just my head is and my thoughts are like all over the place. But back to the story about me being in the ER. One thing I wish they would have done is do a CT or MRI scan on my brain, because I just want to rule out if I have anything wrong with my brain, because the headaches and stuff I know is from anxiety. But what if it's not? With anxiety, there's always that. What if it's not? What if it's not anxiety? What if it's something else? I know a lot of you guys have the same things, oh, what if it's not anxiety? What if it's a brain tumor or something really wrong with your brain? If that they miss. Okay, what if my heart is fine, but I have a brain tumor, and even me saying that, I'm like, oh my god, now I'm gonna start thinking I have it. Because if they did an MRI, a CT scan on me once, and they said there's no sign of anything wrong with my brain whatsoever, nothing wrong with my heart, and if I wore a heart monitor, which I'm going to go to the heart doctor this Friday, and most likely I'll have to wear one for I don't know how many times, for how long. If they ran all the blood tests, urine tests, all that little tests, and they said, it comes back to anxiety, then I can just say, then I can really shift my mind to, okay, it's anxiety. Best thing for me to do is, relax. Change up my environment, because my room. Lately, I've been having crazy panic attacks in my room. This past Friday, I went to visit my daughter in a different part of somewhere else. It's about 2 hours away. I was nervous all day, all night, going for that drive. And then when I got there, I was still nervous, but I calmed down. My daughter, and her boyfriend knows about my panic attacks, and I slept on the air mattress, and all I did was relax. I just sat on there. We didn't really get to go anywhere because it was raining, and I'm like, we'll just play games, watch movies, whatever, just spend time. And she has 2 little dogs, and when they barking, my anxiety kind of went up, but at the same time, they would lay down on the air mattress right next to me, and then just my attention just went towards them, and I I miss having a dog too. The dog that we had was old and then passed away a couple of years ago, and now I'm like, oh my god, now I want to have another dog, but something bigger, and keep the dog with me in my room. Not necessarily sleep on the bed with me, but like somewhere in the room, so I don't feel like I'm in the room by myself. Because for whatever reason, just having somebody like a pet in the room with me feels more relaxing. I'll be honest. And then right now I calm down a little bit, but my brain, I'll probably make another video later on today or so about anxiety symptoms. But inside my brain, I can feel like parts of my brain is like a stabbing pain, or like it's blood flowing, a blood clot. Those are scary to think, but that's how I feel like right now. And I told the doctor, I said, if those symptoms are from anxiety, and that's when I keep in my mind like, okay, but why can't I just get an MRI or CT scan just so you can rule out anything? What if you see those spots in the MRI or CT scan, what is showing what I feel like, and if they say, oh yeah, you see these spots, that's because your anxiety and the stress, and it's giving you those symptoms, and that's why you can see these spots like that in your brain. And then when the guy did the EKG, he just showed me, it's like your heart rate is, your EKG, your image of your heart is fine. They took an image of my heart, and the EMS, they said it's fine. It's just my blood pressure was high. When I took the blood pressure at home, it was high too. I try not to take my blood pressure too often. The reason why is I don't want to have health anxiety. I don't have health anxiety. I just have straight up panic attacks, and overall general anxiety is like sometimes when my heart is racing, but I don't feel any symptoms, it doesn't bother me. If I have a headache, but I don't feel the dizziness, it doesn't bother me. So certain things will bother me, some stuff won't. Which I guess is good and at the same time. But as far as back to the story at the hospital, that's the third time I went to the ER, like I mentioned. The doctor told me, you're perfectly fine. You just should, when you go see the heart doctor, you should also go see the therapist, psychologist, to really help you manage your anxiety, without medication, if you don't feel like you want to take medication, because like I mentioned, I don't know about taking medication. One thing is, I heard, everyone's different, right? I heard some people say it doesn't help them. Some people say when they take them, they feel fine, and then once the medicine wear off, back to the panic. And then there's some people that says, when they stop taking them, it make them worse, and they had to depend on it. And that's why I got afraid of, what if I have to keep depending on the medication? And they also say it could take up to a month or so for the medication to work for you, and that's, all that stuff worries me. And then doctors say, would you rather wait a month for it to work, or keep feeling the way you do? And and then instantly my mind is like bothering, like my mind's like, yeah, don't take it, yeah, take it, don't take it. Then I'm like, oh my god, my mind is, those thoughts, like it feels like you have two brains, two personality, but anyways, and then when I got home, I just went in my bed, just lay down. my brother picked me up, and I just lay down, and then I can feel that anxiety slowly coming back for whatever reason. And then when I ate, rest for a little bit, I went to sleep. I could not sleep too well. I just woke up every few hours, and then I keep dreaming about random stuff, and then I'm like, oh my god, why am I having dreams about this kind of stuff, because it feels so real. And then I start thinking, sometimes I think our dreams, especially when it's people that we see in real life, sometimes I think we like subconsciously we think about it, and then when we go to sleep we dream about it. For me, if I don't think about anything before I go to bed, let's say I'm just watching a movie, something funny, something relaxing, and I laugh, and then I go to sleep, I have funny dreams, whatever, that I just wake up and just smile and not even do anything. Well, last night I was dreaming about working. I was like, oh my god, what the heck, why am I dreaming about working? And that kind of stuff, and it's just didn't make sense to me. But and then when I left, and then when I got off, when I woke up this morning, I was like, oh my god, my nervous system is so wrecked, and I text my manager, so I can't go to work today, and so I'm only gonna be working Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, because Friday I have my doctor's appointment, and looking forward to that. The reason why is the heart doctor can do more testing. If he said, your heart is perfectly fine, go see a therapist, a psychiatrist. I also want to see a ENT to look inside, like, just to see if they can detect anything with the dizziness. What if the dizziness is not from my anxiety? What if the dizziness is causing me to have anxiety? Sometimes I feel, I don't know if the anxiety comes and then the symptoms, or the symptoms of the dizziness, then the panic attacks come. What if it's the dizziness and then the anxiety comes, and then the dizziness increase the anxiety, how the anxiety, then the dizziness comes, and then the anxiety increases. I know it's kind of confusing, but what if it's like that? And all these thoughts in my head, but well, like I said, I watched some of my old videos from 2016, 17, and 18, me struggling, me overcoming it, and I feel like I'm back to those days where I'm struggling and I'm just hoping that it won't take me over a year to overcome it again, because I don't want to lose my job or anything like that. I also have a baby to help provide. Again, my girlfriend works too. We work together, but both of us work to earn the income for her. The baby is better than one of us working. And that's what scares me. I'm like, what if I had that fear of going to work, and then one day my girlfriend's like, you know what, I need a man that can take care of the baby, and then what if she cheats on me, or what if she breaks up with me, stuff like that. That I'm not gonna lie, that been in my mind as well. And sometimes I keep thinking to myself, oh my god, why is that anxiety back? I kind of know it's pretty much because of stress from personal home stuff, work, relationship, family, stuff that goes around the world is filled with stress. You know, some people can handle it better, some people can't. You know, and things like that. But you know, I will make another video about my symptoms and all my symptoms, my sensation, because I know a lot of people that watches inside the video because we always want to know each other's symptoms, each other's sensation, how we feel. You don't have the symptoms I have. Oh my God, what if it's something else? You know, sometimes I'm like that too. Oh my God, someone did list a symptom I have. Maybe I have some kind of illness. That's why. But that's pretty much it.